Good morning, students. With the presence of God, we can start our main subjects. Today, I am going to teach you commerce subject. First, let us understand what is the meaning for commerce. Commerce simply refers to the trading activities, that is business activities which is related to exchange of goods and services from the producer to the final consumer. Already you have learnt these trading activities like trade, internal trade, external trade, banking. You have used the terms in the 9th standard and 10th standard. So in detail only in commerce subject we are going to see. Now in the first lesson, it is an introduction about the commerce, how it has been flourished in the earlier medieval period and how in the present period the commerce has been developed. First lesson topic is historical background of commerce in the subcontinent. In this we are going to see introduction and barter system. This already you have learnt in the lower classes. And then what are the various hindrances of commerce and how these hindrances of commerce has been eliminated. Hindrances means tadangalgal. Now it is time immemorial because when the commerce has been practiced in India, because it has become a part and parcel of human life even for the king and a common man. So mostly the commerce has been done even in the neighboring villages, states and countries even in the absence of money as a medium of exchange. That is, goods are exchanged from one person to another person. That is known as commercial activities. Now, let us understand the beginning, how it has been flourished. So, commerce has been in practice even during the Indus Valley civilization also. Even in the Sangam period only, the word Vanibam or Vanibam has been used. It is of Dravidian origin only, we can say. In early Sangam period also, both the internal trade and as well as the external trade has been practiced. How trade and traders has been continued in the Pandya dynasty. Mostly the informations we have gathered from the foreign travelers, how the trade has been practiced in the Pandya dynasty. Actually, the place where the goods are sold is known as Angadi in their period. So, the day market was known as Nalangadi and the night market was known as Alangadi. Even in ancient Tamil Nadu also, the coastal trade has been practiced. For example, in big cities like Bhumbukar, we have the trade activities in Patinapakkam, etc. Mostly the ports like Tondi, Korkai, Buhar and Musiri has been used for the transferring the goods either through coastal areas. Now let us see what is the role of the government during ancient Tamil Nadu. Mostly the foreigners who were engaged in the transacting business, they were known as Yavanas. And Arabs, those who are traded with Tamil, they are called Jonagar. And then the Kaveri Pumbattinam was the chief port of the kingdom of Cholas, whereas the Nagapattinam and Marakannam, Arikamedu are the small ports which were used in the ancient Tamil Nadu. The contribution of Kautilya to trade is also remarkable, we can say, because in Kautilya's Arthashastra itself, it describes economy in Mauryan times. Earlier, in medieval India also, the trade has been centralized. Now, how the commerce and trade has been practiced in North India, that is the ruler Balban was the first sultan who showed the way to the foreigners and they helped the traders to move from one marketplace to another. Mostly the important trade centers are, we can say, Delhi, Mumbai, Ahmedabad, Sonar, etc. Now trade with, even we had trade with Rome, China and Europe. Mostly the Roman and Greek traders, they frequently contact with the Tamil country, and they had a relationship with the early Tamil Nadu. Even the Cholas, they had a strong relationship with the Chinese dynasty. During 16th and 18th centuries also, we had overseas trade which can be extended to European companies also. Now let us see what is the meaning for barter system. Actually, you have learnt already. What is meant by barter system? The exchange of goods against goods for another is known as barter system, we can say. But this barter system also had some difficulties. Let us see the constraints of the barter system, because the barter system had many difficulties as follows. For example, first one is lack of double coincidence of wants, non-existence of common measure of value, lack of direct contact between producer and consumer, and lack of surplus stock. What is the meaning for double coincidence of wants? ஒருத்தரோட விருப்பம் இன்னொருத்தரோட விருப்பமும் ஒன்றாகும் நிச்சயமே கிடையாது. For example, we can say, suppose A and B are two traders. A is selling wheat and B is selling rice. Suppose if A wants to exchange the goods to B, means he must be in need of rice. Otherwise, the barter system could not exist, because always there should not be coincidence of wants, we can say. ரெண்டு பேரோட விருப்பங்களும் கண்டிப்பாக ஒத்து போகும் அப்படின்னு நம்ம சொல்ல முடியாது. Now, non-existence of common measure of value, because the barter system does not determine the measures. Whatever the goods are exchanged cannot be measured. For example, can you exchange gold for wheat? Because you know the value of money, you are not able to exchange. But during that time and all, money has not been introduced. So the barter system has been failed, we can say. Next topic is lack of direct contact between producer and the consumer. It was not possible for the buyers to contact the producers, those who are selling to them, because in barter system face-to-face contact was not possible, we can say. And then next one is lack of surplus stock. What is meant by lack of surplus stock? எப்பயுமே அதிகமாக இருக்கிறது. Every time there must not be any surplus stocks among the traders. So in that case, suppose if the buyers and the sellers, they do not have any surplus stocks, means the barter system was not possible, we can say. And now there was a period the money has been introduced. So by the invention of the money as a medium of exchange also, there are many other hindrances in the commerce. What do you mean by hindrances of commerce? Hindrances of commerce means, actually we can say, தடங்கல்கள். ஒரு வணிகத்தை செயல்படுத்த வேண்டிய தடங்கள் என்னென்னலாம் producers or even the consumers are facing, that only we are going to see under this topic, that is hindrance of commerce. What are the various hindrance of commerce, we can say? For example, first one is hindrance of place, and hindrance of contact, and hindrance of time, risk, finance, information. இடம் ஒரு தடங்களாக இருக்கலாம், கான்டாக்ட் பண்ண முடியாதது ஒரு தடங்களாக இருக்கலாம், நேரமும் காலமும் ஒரு தடங்களாக இருக்கலாம், அன்எக்ஸ்பெக்டட் ரிஸ்க் இடர்கள் வரலாம், ஃபினான்ஸ் ப்ராப்ளம் வரலாம். ஸோ மோர் நான் இன்ஃபர்மேஷன், these are the hindrances. So mostly business means it consists of all industries and commerce, we can say. So let us see what are the various hindrances. First one is hindrance of person, because the manufacturers, they do not know about the face of the consumer. Only the retailer knows the taste of the consumers. இதில் மேனுஃபேக்சரர்ஸ்னால் உற்பத்தியாளர்கள், ஹோல்சேலர்ஸ்னா மொத்த வியாபாரிகள், ரீட்டெயிலர்ஸ்னா சில்லறை வியாபாரிகள். ஸோ மோஸ்ட்லி வி ஆர் இன் கான்டாக்ட் வித் ஒன்லி வித் த ரீட்டெயிலர்ஸ். யாரெல்லாம் சிறு வியாபாரம் செய்கிறவங்கள தான் நம்ம பார்க்குறோம். ஸோ திஸ் கன்சிஸ்ட் த செயின் ஆஃப் த மிடில்மென்ஸ். So here the middleman removes this type of hindrance. Only the retailer removes this hindrance of person. இந்த தடங்களை ரிமூவ் பண்ணுறது யாரு அப்படின்னு நம்ம சொல்லணும்னா ரீட்டெயிலரை சொல்லலாம். Next one is hindrance of place. So production can be taken place in one place, but consumption can be taken place in another because consumers are spread throughout the country. So how it can be removed? இந்த தடங்களை நிவர்த்தி பண்ணுறது யாரு? Because only transport we can say. For example, rail, air, sea and land transports. They only bring the products from the producer to the consumer. And then next one is hindrance of time. Warehouse. For example, the producers, they go on produce the goods throughout the year. But sometimes the goods are being demanded only by the consumers in certain period. Till then, where they have to store the goods? அது இருக்கிற வரைக்கும் எந்த இடத்துல அவங்க எல்லாத்தையும் ஸ்டோர் பண்ணுவாங்க? Only in the warehouse. So warehouse automatically they removes this type of hindrance. So குடோன்ல வைக்கிறதுனால நம்ம பொருள் பாதுகாப்பாக இருக்கும். Next one is sometimes hindrance of risk of deterioration in quality because of proper packaging and modern air conditioning in storage also. This type of hindrance can be removed because sometimes goods are being affected by insects and then rats, even by evaporation. Next one is hindrance of risk of loss. For example, even fire, theft, திருடு நடக்கலாம், floods, ஏன்னா சேதம் ஏற்படலாம், or accidents may cause damage to the business. So only who is there to recover this risk, recover these losses? Only the insurance companies. So automatically this type of hindrance has been removed. Next one is hindrance of knowledge. Suppose when a product is sold in the market, means how the consumers will come to know? Either by the advertisement, because nowadays we are seeing through TV only we have come to know whichever the product is introduced in the market. எந்த ஒரு பொருள் புதுசாக introduce பண்ணனாலும் either they can be done advertisement or by salesman. Sometimes salesman know, they can go on to the house of the consumers, they can explain the products. So this type of knowledge hindrance is removed by the advertising and the salesman. In between, the medium of exchange, because money acts as a medium of exchange in paying and selling the goods. Because sometimes hindrance of finance. Finance means, for example, the producers and the traders may not have the required funds throughout the year. Sometimes till the goods are sold in the market, the producers may not able to get the finance. Even sometimes the consumers know, suppose if they want to purchase the goods, means they need finance. How the finance can be removed? Only by the banking and financial institutions. எப்பெல்லாம் பணம் தேவைப்படுதோ அப்போ இந்த தடங்களை ரிமூவ் பண்ணுறது யாருன்னு சொன்னா இந்த பேங்கிங் ஆக்டிவிட்டீஸ் தான். Now next one is research and development. Mostly every product research and development has been taken place and they can satisfy according to the specific needs of the consumer. And then hindrance of both selection and delivery of doorsteps, because sometimes the goods can be delivered even at the doorsteps of the consumer. Now last topic is e-commerce. E-commerce already you know, that is electronic commerce, because it enables the consumer to select the products through website. They can place the orders on online, or sometimes they can make the payment and receives the product at the doorstep. So let us conclude. Only these are the introduction about the commerce. That is the first lesson is concluded. Students, whatever I have explained, try to understand it and try. If there is any doubt, means I will contact you later. Thank you.